Something that surprises a lot of people is that we put Emma into tennis even though she's non-speaking and she struggles to follow instructions. And no, this was not about hoping that she would suddenly understand the rules or become good at tennis. It was about regulation, structure, and connection without the pressure. Once we reframed it that way, the decision actually made a lot of sense. The children there are learning the absolute basics. The developmental fit is a lot more important than the age, and we feel so lucky that we were able to enroll Emma with the younger age group. I was very hesitant about this because I was worried about Emma disrupting the class, but it really helps that all the other children are absolute beginners as well. We've been going to these lessons for about a month now. No one is hitting the ball back and forth. No one really knows what they're doing there because they are a couple of years younger as well. And the fact that all of the kids are beginners and everyone's struggling to grasp the basics, it's just removed so much pressure for Emma and I. So what the sessions actually look like. Before we jump into that, if you find value in this video, then consider subscribing to our channel for more SEN-focused family content. During these sessions, no one is actually playing matches, no one is passing the ball back and forth. The children are learning how to position their body. They're learning how to cue and wait for their turn. They're learning how to hold the racket, to hold it on one hand in their dominant hand, two hands with their non-dominant hand. The children are learning and developing their listening skills and copying each other. The kids are just learning the basics that you have to wait for a bounce and then try to hit the ball, how to position your body, how to position your arm, how to hold the racket. There are 2 coaches for about 6 to 8 children in this class, and they do make the lesson more accessible for Emma. So for example, the neurotypical children, when it's their turn, they are able to follow the verbal instructions, ready position, turn, wait for the bounce. And even though all the kids are, even though all the kids are rubbish and they're struggling to hit the ball as well, they do comprehend the verbal instructions and they are trying. But the way Emma does it, when it's her turn, she needs help to stand in her spot. And what the instructor does is he physically goes behind Emma and holds her hand. So Emma holds the racket and the instructor holds Emma's hand with the racket in it. And while he's giving the verbal instructions really slowly, he's actually physically guiding Emma's hands. And for the neurotypical children, the instructor would stand a few feet back and gently throw the ball to them and then tell them to wait for the bounce before hitting it back. But for Emma, he's physically holding Emma's hand, and before dropping the ball right in front of her, he's very patiently saying, wait for the bounce, wait for the bounce, wait for the bounce. And then once he drops the ball right in front of Emma, he's still standing behind her and physically guiding her hand to try and hit the racket. And they don't expect Emma to be able to do what the other children are doing. So they are adapting the lesson for her. And I am also there to help Emma. So once Emma's turn is finished and she needs to go to the back of the queue, I am there to help her because she would just like spin around and wander around there. And once I show her the back of the queue, she needs help moving forward. So when it's another child's turn, so there's 2 instructors there, and once 2 children move forward and the queue needs to move forward as well, Emma just stands there. She doesn't really understand the cueing at the moment. So I'm holding her hand and physically nudging her a bit to move forward in the queue. It's such an important life skill. So she massively struggles with cueing. And during these lessons, she can practice it on a smaller scale and get into the routine of cueing, waiting for her turn, taking turns, allowing the other children to have their turns as well. We've been going to these lessons for about a month now. I think not once did Emma manage to hit the ball by herself, but that's okay. That's not why we're there. And there are also other ball games they're playing. They're trying to bounce the ball on the racket. which again Emma is struggling with, but that's fine. At least she's trying to copy what the other children are doing. Once all the balls are scattered around the tennis court, then all the children needs to go and gather the balls, pop them back in the bucket so they can have a go again. This is something again we're helping Emma, and I'm going with her and I'm modeling it for her, and I'm showing her now we're gonna pick up the balls. I'm giving her some balls as well, pointing at the balls, and once she picks the balls, I'm showing her and I'm going with her, look, we put it in the bucket, and I put my balls in the bucket and I'm showing her how to put them in a bucket. I would advise parents of autistic children, especially parents with autistic children who have higher support needs, to just leave the house if you can. Just go out, just get involved, just try something. This is so important to get the kids into team sports, to get the kids involved in turn taking. That's one of the most important skills they have to develop, turn taking, because the autistic child is going to grow up into an autistic adult, and they are not going to be ready for the real world if you're shielding them too much. Even though a lot of the parents have the best of intentions, however much Emma struggles, we're still taking her out everywhere and we're making her take part in everything. So she doesn't have to be good in tennis. She doesn't have to be able to hit the ball. That's not why she's there. She's practicing these absolutely essential life skills. She's practicing how to cue. She's practicing how to take turns. She's copying the other children. And most importantly, she's away from the screens. And there's also an element of predictability and safety. So Emma develops this routine. She's expecting these lessons. She knows what's going to happen. This morning she woke me up and she was keep saying, let's go tennis. So she knew we're going to have the lesson today. She was expecting it. She anticipated it. She was so excited to go. And she was so happy to take part. Because she's been there for a few weeks, I did try to pop out for a few minutes because there's like a viewing area behind the glass. So I wanted to give her a chance, see how she does. But after around a minute or so, she wandered off the tennis court, and then she picked up her tablet and started to wander around the middle of the tennis court with her tablet. So I quickly went back inside and just stayed with her and just kept her focus on the activity. But that's okay. Maybe not today, maybe not in a month, maybe in a few months or a year time, she's going to be able to take part in the lesson without the one-to-one, hopefully. But even if not, that's okay. There's no pressure on her to do that. I can't expect them to provide her a one-to-one, but I'm happy to be her one-to-one. Emma's body is still learning. Even though she's struggling with the verbal instructions, her body is building up this muscle memory, and hopefully after a couple of weeks or months or years, she's just going to get into the habit of this and she's going to learn how to use that racket. And there's also the group participation without the pressure. Emma is part of the group, but she's not being compared and she's not being singled out. She's allowed to be who she is, and it absolutely changes everything. And the children there are so understanding. Not one person made fun of her for having a physical help. Not one child made fun of her for having an adult holding Emma's hand, helping her cue. There were no eye rolls, no odd looks, nothing. All the children just accepted her from the moment she walked in there. And there's the element of regulation and waiting. Emma is learning how to tolerate structure, how to wait in a queue, how to take turns without being told. Especially for Emma, waiting can be harder than the actual activity. This is not a recommendation for every autistic child. This is just what works for us. If you are stuck thinking that you have to wait until your child starts to understand the instructions before trying things like this, you might be waiting too long. Sometimes the environment does the teaching, not the words. People talk a lot about early development, early signs, early skills, but this is what really matters. Giving autistic children space to grow into themselves at their own pace, in their own way. Emma does not need to fit into anyone else's timeline. She just needs opportunities, patience, and people who believe in her. Today that looks like a tennis court. Tomorrow, who knows? And that is actually a beautiful thing. If you find value in this video, then consider subscribing to our channel for more SEN-focused family content. This is a quick and easy way to support our channel.